Welcome to the Poker Cannonball Run.
I love New York. I used to live here. Here's my banger of a vehicle, 98 Toyota Camry. The starting point, we're ready to get on the road. Papa Poker's Poker Cannonball Run. You start at the Red Ball Garage, you finish at the Portofino Hotel. Every state along the way, you got to cash in a poker tournament. Once you hit a state, you must cash in a poker tournament in that state, or you can't move on. You can't sneak through New Jersey on your way to Syracuse. You are allowed to hang out with dogs that approach you while you're filming. Horn beeping as someone's coming out of the Red Ball Garage. No, we're not in the way. You're still in the Empire State. More about the journey to come. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I'd really appreciate it.
Very excited about making a waffle.
Lunch today on our way to the casino. We've got the Jimmy Dean breakfast leftover from the buffet this morning. I'm gonna grab a ham, egg, and cheese, some leftover salad from last night, and run over to the casino event at Turning Stone, our first tournament of the weekend. A little bit windy. On our way to Turning Stone, we need dollars. I'm usually running to the ATM before each one of these tournaments, so I use a credit union. Access Federal Credit Union is going to be our credit union supplier today. And we're in to the ATM. We'll get some dollars and run over to the casino. We've now set up the cell phone holder so we can drive while chatting. Right now in New England, the beautiful fall foliage, doing some video calls, and people are like, wait, look at those leaves in the background. Now, are you allowed to do video calls while driving? I don't even know if you're allowed to do driving videos here. But we're breaking the law, if need be. Focused on driving and chatting with you. Got our Turning Stone card, and yeah, let's turn left here. Oh, this guy's going up to 4. I do not like to park on 4. I do not like seat 4. I do not like tables with the number 4 in it. Now, I don't know how that affects me. The last time I was here at Turning Stone, the guy's like, no problem. And he gave me something. I got literally table 4, seat 4, when I said I didn't want to sit at anything with the number 4. I'll explain maybe another day why we don't like 4, because we're here at the casino. So I'm gonna run. We'll track the progress, and we'll keep you up to date. Thanks for tuning in. Saturday, October 26th, Turning Stone, $300 black chip bounty tournament. That's a $100 bounty on the line, 15,000 starting stack, 25-minute levels. So in these rebuy tournaments, I suck before it becomes rebuy period over, but I'm trying to adjust. We gotta win. Let's be aggressive. Let's try to double up in the rebuy period. And just before the rebuy period ends, they're announcing, this is the last hand. I've got 25,000 chips, doing well, practically a double up, which is my goal by the rebuy break. I know the whole table. I know who's aggressive. I know who's not. They say last hand, I get ready for the break. Everybody folds. All of a sudden, there's one more hand. Obligatory 300, 500, 500. This is the last hand before the break. I thought the prior hand was going to be the last hand, but this is the last hand before the break. The last hand before the end of the rebuy period. I'm under the gun +2. First to act. Ace, king off. Okay, I wouldn't mind taking down this pot Let's just go off and have a nice break and come back and spin things up. I'm going to bet a little larger than I'm supposed to. I realize this is too big, whatever. Raise it up, 2,000. Folds over to the button. The button's got like half the number of chips that I do, and the button makes the call. Over to the big blind, and the big blind raises to 7,000. What is going on here? Now, the big blind has been an aggressive player all day. Very aggressive. Oh, I'm in a pickle, though. Like, two of us bet, I raised, the button called, and then a raise to 7,000? What does the big blind have? What's the big blind have? Oh, this is either fold or all in, right? I can't flat because the button behind me is just going to go all in. So I'd be just delaying the inevitable. Oh, I don't like this 7,000 bet. Something just stinks. Now, I started with 25,000 in chips. If I rebuy, I come back with 15,000 in chips. So really, I would just lose like 10,000 in chips if I do something wrong. And I've got a chance, if I win this, if I take this down, to come away with like a huge amount of chips. All right, jam, all in, ace, king, here we go. Over to the button, and the button calls. Over to the big blind. The big blind calls. The big blind has almost like double the amount of chips that I do. Call it like 45,000. Turn them up. I've got ace king. The button's got fours. And the big blind pocket aces. That's why you raise it up to 7,000. Oh, this doesn't look good. Flippity floppity. 7. King. 4. Ugh, a 4 for the pocket fours. How about that? The king looked sort of good. Gave us, I mean, we're still in it, I guess. All right, the turn, queen. That doesn't help. The river, ace. And the best starting hand actually takes it down. Two of us going home, off to the rebuy cage. So we went and rebought, got a new table, but we're mucking here along. There are a lot of players who are just having fun, and our goal is just to cash. So let's put our head down, let's get our head in the game, and let's move along. We're starting with 15,000 again. Rebuy, 15,000 as we move to a new table. Oh, I cannot believe this hand. I'm sitting here just under average chips. Obligatory 400, 800, 800. I am first to act, early position, pocket aces. We like the pocket rockets. Let's go to the moon. Raise it up to 2,000. Over to the hijack. The hijack makes the call. Cutoff thinks for a moment and folds. Over to the button, and the button is about to call, and there's commotion. The cutoff went to fold and sort of threw the cards in the air at the dealer, and the dealer's hands were moving. The dealer's hands hit the cards midair from the cutoff, and they flip over. King of spades, 5 of clubs, exposed. And now all of a sudden, the button who is about to call pulls back the chips and says, never mind, I fold. Oh. Over the big blind makes the call, and we're off. Flippity floppity, king, 7, 3, rainbow. Big blind checks, and I see this king. Oh, how does the king and the exposed king play? I push all in. Let's be aggressive. Let's try and get someone to act up against us right then and there. Let's play a little bit disguised. Would you do this with aces? Maybe not. All right. The hijack folds. The big blind thinks a little more, and then also folds. Maybe that all-in wasn't the most logical way to play it. Ugh. But as we send the chips over to me, the button chimes in. You know, I had King of Hearts, 9 of Hearts, and if it weren't for that whole cards being exposed, I would have been in, and I probably would have called your aces all in. Oh. So there, the poker gods were not with us. That situation, that player was playing very aggressive. I think he would have definitely called with King 9 suited. Oh. All right, on to the next hand. That would have been a sure double up. He would have called. I know him from playing with him. And I just needed a double up. I got the aces. I got the kings on the flop. And this card exposed tilted me for the rest of the round. So we're just taking it easy. So we're just at average stack. Now we got like 25 big blinds. Less than average stack. 25 big blinds. But at least we've got, 25 big blinds as it goes up to 500, 1,000, 1,000. Obligatory 500, 1,000, 1,000. First hand of the level, 39 left, and it pays 10. All right, we're in middle position. Look down. Ace, king off. I like it. Raise it up, 3,000. Over to the button. The button, 15 big blinds, takes a moment and pushes all in. Back over to us. Ace, king. I got to like ace, king here. We've got the button covered. We make the call. All right, let's turn them over. We've got ace, king, and we're up against pocket queens. All right, a touch behind. There's a bounty on the line. I still like the play. Flippity floppity. King, 10, 4. Right out of the gate. The first card of king. We will take it, and we are ahead. Let's go. The turn, 9 of diamonds. The river, king of clubs. We didn't even need that king, but we'll take it. We score a nice win, and we pick up a bounty. Our first positive inflow here in New York. Obligatory 500, 1,000, 1,000. Under the gun, raises it up to 3,000. I've been tracking this player all day. Super aggressive. Definitely could be opening wide. Folds over to me. Before I even look at my cards, I know he's opening wide, and I'm hoping to have something to get involved with this player. I know I have a good read on him. Look down. King of clubs, jack of clubs. That's good enough to play. I make the call, and it's just the two of us onto the flop. Flippity floppity. Queen of clubs, king of spades, jack of spades. Checks over to me, and with a very good flop, I bet 5,000. Under the gun player calls. All right, here's the turn. Queen of spades. And now the under the gun player leads out for 10,000. Oh. Now I start to hem and haw. I was so excited about this hand. I was ready to bet. Now he did originally start this hand off under the gun. Now was he being bluffy? Was he being aggressive? What's going on here? What does he have? Does he have queens? Does he have 3 queens? Does he have a flush? What is going on? But he's super aggressive. We've got the read. Do we trust our read? He could have just 1 spade. I know he's super aggressive. This decision is my entire tournament life. Oh, I make the fold. Under the gun takes it down. As he takes it down, he flips over his cards. Ace of spades, 7 of hearts. Ugh. If I was going to play with this guy pre-flop, if I was going to make that initial call, I really needed to stay more aggressive. If I went all in after his turn bet, he would have called. He had way more chips than me, and my tournament life would have been on the line, but I'm 65-35 ahead. Obligatory 800, 1,600, 1,600. Under the gun folds. I'm under the gun +1. Look down. Pocket kings. I really get a lot of pocket kings and pocket aces here at Turning Stone. I'm not doing anything proper with them, not making enough money, but let's change it around this time. Pocket kings, raise it up. I actually meant to bet 4,800. Bit of a misclick. I forgot a chip, or I don't know what I did. Raise 3,800. Over to the cutoff, and the cutoff makes the call. We are on to the flop, flippity floppity. 7 of hearts, queen of clubs, 4 of hearts. All right, we have an overpair. I like it. Let's get trappity. Check. So I check onto the cutoff, and the cutoff goes all in. 22,000 out there, all in. Don't really have to think too long about this. We are in good shape. I make the call, turn them over. I've got kings, and the cutoff has ace of hearts, queen of diamonds, top pair, backdoor flush draw. Here comes the turn. 6 of clubs, and the river. 10 of clubs, and we have just won a chunk of chips. Started with 35,000, pick up 20-some thousand more, and a bounty. Nice haul, and we are back in this. Obligatory 1,500, 2,500, 2,500. Under the gun +1 calls for 2,500. Under the gun +2 also calls. Over to the button, who calls. I'm in the small blind. I look down. Pocket kings. We will take it. Pocket kings. Raise it up. Now, when I go to raise, I'm thinking 9,000. This is probably too small of a raise. With so much action, definitely could go larger based on how much is in the pot. I went to 9,000 really because so many times at Turning Stone, I've raised with something strong like kings and gotten no callers. I want to make sure I get some action. And to be honest, I wasn't trying to induce a jam. I just wanted a caller. Well, I went with the raise to 9,000. Under the gun +1 calls, has roughly the same stack as mine. Under the gun +2 folds, and then the button has like double my stack, also makes the call. Flippity floppity, 10 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 2 of clubs. I am first to act, small blind, all in. What am I doing? All in. You know, I just love jamming early and locking in my winnings. I can see that money in the pot. I just want to grab it. But of course here, my hand's not really vulnerable. Let's charge ace-x. Let's charge anyone who's got a random 10 or a random 8. You know, I could go like 5 big blinds and then go all in on the turn. Definitely left some money on the table. After my all in, under the gun +1 folds. The button folds. We do pick up the pot. Obligatory 1,500, 3,000, 3,000. Middle position, raise to 6,000. Action now on me. I'm in the cutoff, look down. Pocket queens. All right, let's go. Raise it up. 14,500. Onto the button. The woman to my left looks down at her cards, and she goes all in for 78,000. Middle position folds. She has been playing super tight the whole time I've been at the table with her. I've watched, she's tight. She's only playing good cards. We're getting closer and closer to the end, and she wants to stay in. I'm actually considering folding here. I just don't like it. The way she pushed her chips, I don't know. I say to her, if I fold, will you show? She doesn't talk, doesn't reply, but she slowly nods her head, yes. And I hem and I haw and I say I've got something good. I just don't like this. She's been playing tight. My read is she's got me beat. Does she have ace king? I think she's got better than ace king. Well, we'll get information. We'll know if she shows. I fold. They push the chips towards her. She flips over. Pocket kings. Pocket kings dominate pocket queens. We are still alive in the tournament. We made the right read. Obligatory 1,500, 3,000, 3,000. We are down to the final two tables. 16 players left, 8 at each table. Folds around to me. I'm in the cutoff. Jack of clubs, 7 of spades. We've got nothing. This is normally an insta-fold, but we are getting close to the final table, close to the payouts, and everybody wants to make the money. I'm ready to open it up and be a little bit more aggressive. Now, there's merit to maybe a 2x raise or a 2.5x raise. The table knows that I do a 3x raise, or at least I've been doing it in this tournament. I raise it up to 9,000. Now, I've got air, but I'm just reading, along with the whole table being tight, the people to my left, definitely tight. The woman to my left, been playing tight the whole time. I think she has something. She starts thinking about it, debates what to do, debates, and she folds. From there, the small blind folds, the big blind flips over his cards. 8 of spades, 3 of clubs, an obvious fold there to my raise, and we pick up 7,500 in blinds. I'll take it at this stage. Obligatory 2,000, 4,000, 4,000. 7-handed, 14 players left, pays 10. Just moved to this table. I've got like 14 big blinds. I look down in the hijack, ace of hearts, 10 of diamonds. This is pretty darn good, and I have not seen good cards recently. 14 big blinds, all in. Let's get some folds. Come on. Folds around, big blind. Big blind's got like 150,000 in chips. Takes literally 5 seconds, and then insta calls. I don't like that insta call. Flip them over. The big blind has pocket jacks. I do not have a good feeling about this. Flippity floppity. 10 of hearts, queen of diamonds, 8 of hearts. The turn, 2 of spades. The river, 7 of clubs. We did get a 10, but that's still worse than jacks. And we are busted. Out in 14th. Pays 10. Oh, stuck in New York again. I may just not be cut out for this. Ugh. Another bubble disaster. Total amateur trying to pull this off. Finished 14th out of 91. Paid the top 10. Went all in with ace 10. Everybody folded around to the big blind who got jacks. I did get a 10. But when your opponent has jacks, that doesn't matter. So that'll do it. 14th out of 91. We're done at Turning Stone. The Saturday before Halloween. Again, probably. I mean, I was low on chips. 2,000, 4,000, 4,000. I had like 50-some thousand chips. But yes, I could have just sat and folded and gotten down to the very bare bones and seen what happens. And when there's only one tournament in New York per day, these always sting. Like, it's not like I can come back in the next one later that day. So thanks for tuning in. Lots of good plays to get there. There was an ace-king where I raised and the lady to my left called, and maybe that was the mistake. Maybe I should have gone all in with that ace-king. I don't know. Whenever that lady played, she was very tight. I raised with ace-king. She called. The flop had a queen. I didn't continue. Maybe I should have Alden right there, in case she had a pair less than queens. So, we're back at it. I don't know. This is now multiple times of getting close. So I sort of know what I'm doing. But knocked out. And we gotta try again tomorrow. The question, the tournament's later in the day tomorrow, is whether to race down to New York and start the clock again. I'm gonna go to sleep and sleep this one off and figure it out. But welcome to Jason Just Plays New York State tournaments. This is not very much crossing the country. It's just New York, New York, New York. I can only imagine New Mexico, man. If I get stuck in New Mexico, that's gonna be a disaster. Well, there's some point where I may give up on this. Finished 14th out of 91. It only paid top 10. So annoying, right? If it paid top 12%, I would have made it. Really rough. And yes, like right after I got knocked out, two people at the other table got knocked out at the same time. So it went down to 11. Now granted, if I was still in, it would have been 12. But it didn't take that long for other people to get knocked out, which is the whole stay and just fold your way to cashing. I was playing tight from the final 30 on, just trying to make it. Maybe that was the mistake. I don't know. So that's our update from Turning Stone. We're off to River Schenectady. We'll decide if we're bopping into Red Ball Garage in the interim. Because if we reset the clock, then it doesn't matter, right? All this is just good practice. It was a bounty tournament. I won a couple bounties. So that was nice. So that's our update. Do you think I'm going to complete this cross-country drive? If you think I will, subscribe. If you think there's no chance, like this video. All right, let's go back in time. After I flew back from Vegas to Pennsylvania, how I got to the Red Ball Garage, and then up to Turning Stone. Flew into Pittsburgh here on Thursday, got in the morning after a red eye, and I needed to sleep. So slept all day. Now I got to drive to New York, go back to the Red Ball Garage for time number 3. And we'll see if we can start this journey on the right foot. In Vegas, I sort of got my bearings back home. I played one ACR tournament and bombed out pretty quick while I was running on the treadmill. Played a second. Started to do turbo because realized that turbo on ACR is more similar to a real tournament setting. So did turbo, sort of get in the tournament world. Out of like 50 people, finished 3rd in a tournament. So somehow I know what I'm doing somewhere along the lines. At least one online $11 tournament. I can get things done. We're set up in my dad's garage. The cool thing about being in his garage is installing cell phone holders on this car. It's not too cold. The weather's getting cold here on the East Coast, so we needed to get a little warm spot to set everything up. Got a CD holder cell phone charger right here. So we pop this into the CD holder. Not really playing CDs anymore. Cell phone here for GPS. Also up here by the rear view mirror, we've got this. We attached the suction cup just now, and it needs like a day to sort of set there. All right, we're testing out the location of the video camera. Yeah, this seems to work. So let's go back to Red Ball Garage. Let's go back to Turning Stone. Let's go back to Schenectady Rivers, and let's get this done. For a very short time in my life, I lived in Pittsburgh. The fun part about Pittsburgh, bridges and tunnels everywhere you go. Leaving my dad's house to get to New York City. Because it's so late at night, we're just driving straight through the tunnel. I was not planning to comment. I was just driving from Pittsburgh to New York. Left smack in the middle of the night. I had to pull off at the rest area because it was the middle of the night. Set off at the rest area. Let's just blast through the next couple hours. All right, the guy behind me is turning on his car. Maybe that's a good sign. I doubt it. Usually he's just... Oh, we're moving. All right, it's 7 a.m. and we're about to start moving. This is exciting. I've been stuck here from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I've never been stuck in traffic for 2 hours. Let's honk here. The guy in front of me is turning on his light. We'll honk the horn. This guy here on the left, I think he was sleeping. These truckers know how to sleep. I've been working for the past 2 hours. Here we go. One guy to my left is moving. Yeah, I'm about to go left too. All right. That guy was sleeping. We're all passing him. We are up and running and going. Stuck in standstill traffic for 2 hours. That is 2 hours of sleep that was cost to me because I've got a hotel I'm trying to get to. And now it's daybreak. Oh, that's the longest I've ever been stuck in traffic. That's the beauty of a road trip, right? Getting stuck in traffic. Let's turn on the lights here. But finally we're rocking and rolling. Who knows if this was a accident or a jackknife tractor trailer or what. The traffic is moving. I guess some of this was a slowdown because certain truckers were sleeping. Oh, so painful. But we're moving. All right, so I'm gonna drive. No more chatting. And I'm gonna get to where I need to go. We'll talk to you later. We're in Mount Arlington, New Jersey. It is actually like 9 a.m. and breakfast closes in 20 minutes. And we're just checking in. What a disaster. But we'll sleep for an hour or two, race into New York City, and get this whole adventure started. It's a police car on our tail. We'll slow down. Driving into New York City on 80. All sorts of issues we're running into. Oh, this van's like hopping in my lane. All right, so I think this might be like a funeral procession or something. That motorcycle cop was telling everybody to just keep going. Yeah, this looks like a funeral procession. I forget that I'm supposed to document everything. I just parked here on 31st. We're gonna grab lunch before heading to the Red Ball Garage. Just paid for my meter. I was over here at the meter machine and all of a sudden the meter maid, now I'd seen him, he was looking at this truck over here. I'd seen the meter maid, I knew he was nearby. I was gonna pay for my meter no matter what. But then I was here at the meter trying to figure out this machine. I couldn't figure it out. All of a sudden he was at my car about to write me a ticket. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't write me a ticket. He came and helped me. So that was good. Now I made a mistake here. This guy parked right behind me and he got a ticket. I should have like offered to pay or something for this person or asked the meter maid. I say meter maid, it was meter guy. I don't know what the term is. The meter guy. If I could have paid for his ticket, because that's got to be $100+ ticket. Yikes! Maybe 200 now. I don't even know. I'm not going to touch it and open it. But we're parked and fine. We're gearing up to start attempt number 3, driving from the Red Ball Garage in New York City to the Portofino Hotel in California. Winning poker tournaments or cashing in poker tournaments in every state along the way. I mentioned how I almost got a ticket. I didn't really almost get a ticket. I was standing right by my car as I paid for it. Let's prove what time we're getting off here. So this is my ticket. It shows that today is October 25th. I forgot to get a receipt at Chipotle where I just ate. So this will have to do. I have credit card receipts for this day and the other day. Had Chipotle with a buddy. Was tracking the time because I didn't pay the full amount on the meter. I should have. So I was getting close to the end of the meter. Had my phone out on the chair next to me. Then, homeless man started bothering everyone at Chipotle. The Chipotle staff came over and was like saying, "You're on drugs. You need to get out of our store." Super distracting. I was like, I gotta make sure I get to my car before this meter expires. Picked up my bag, picked up my Chipotle, threw it away, got to the car, no phone. Now I parked like 4 blocks from Chipotle. I left my phone in Chipotle. I didn't even check, I was just like, I think I left my phone on the chair. So I said goodbye to my buddy, walked me to my car, turned around, ran 4 blocks. The shoes I'm wearing are not running shoes. These are like sort of semi boots, not for running. I booked it to Chipotle. Guy, it's like perfect. One guy sitting at the table I left. My seat was empty. I'm like, hey man, did you see a phone? No, I don't see a phone. Then I was like, why didn't I think of this? Let me put in my AirPods and try and set an alarm. My AirPods connect. This is great. It must be in my bag. And then a lady at Chipotle says, hey, did you lose your phone? Because I see it like flashing. So I put in my AirPods at Chipotle. It turned on the phone. The lady said, this stressed out man is the guy who lost his phone. She said, oh, some kids found it. Walked out. I saw like 7 different students all sitting in school uniform. Did you guys find the phone? Thanked them profusely. So that's my update. A great little tour here of 31st Street in New York City. Met the meter man, didn't film it. Lost my phone, didn't film the nice lady at Chipotle giving it back to me. Didn't film me thanking the kids. So we're gonna try and film more. The goal, this is gotta be a true vlog, okay? This is the start of the vlog. We are going to rock and roll, document anything and everything. We're gonna document hands, we're gonna document travel, we're gonna document in hotels, out of hotels. If you're in this for the ride, if you're gonna try and do this later and wanna follow in my footsteps, we're gonna share and share some more. All right, so I appreciate you tuning in. Papa Poker's Poker Cannonball Run. We're gonna do our best. So it's now, I don't know, It's almost 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. on Friday, October 25th, as documented by our little paying the parking meter here in New York City. We got to get out of the state. We got to get rolling. So here we go. Let's head over to Red Ball Garage. This is attempt number 3. The vehicle in the background here on 31st Street. A little after 3 o'clock, we're gonna drive it over to the garage. That's the starting line, the finish line, the Portofino Hotel. Got to cash in each state along the way. And I don't want to come back. I don't want to reset the clock again. So let's get it done this time, guys. Hey. It's 3:57 right now, yeah. Friday the 25th. Oh. There's One Penn Plaza. And Macy's on our right. Man, New York City's just so cool. There's the big sign for Macy's over there. So we're driving over to 12th Street. We're gonna head north. We are gonna be stuck in traffic. Heaps. Gotta figure out some way to kill some time to let the traffic pass, but there just may be no way. We're leaving in the dead of rush hour on Friday, the Friday before Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, there's the Halloween thrills. Hopefully everyone's got their costume. Our costume arrived via Amazon on Wednesday. We'll break that out maybe at some point this weekend. Where's the Empire State Building? Alright, there's One Penn Plaza. Empire State Building's gotta be right back here. Here? Yeah, there we go. That's the there's the 123 subway. That's yeah. Old Penn Station over there. This bus was making a turn, and then this white truck tried to get by it, and he just smacked into the bus. The bus driver just got out, started yelling at everybody. I don't know whose fault it was. It's definitely going to slow me down. But this DC Trails of Lewis truck, here goes this postal truck. So the postal truck, I think the cop told her to try and get by. There's the bus driver looking at the back of his bus. Here goes the bus driver. He's gonna go talk to this postal lady. He does not look happy with it. Yeah. No, I do. Hi. I'm not even talking to her. He's just selling different photos.
Hi.
Hey. This bus is just stuck here as these two discuss what's going on. This poor bus driver, the cops were sort of telling him what to do. I don't know why that lady tried to get by in her postal truck. Now he's back in the bus. He's gonna move, but she's gonna help me get through. Alright, this guy's sneaking up on us. Sneaking through the bus lane. Just had to break out the camera. Break out the camera one more time as we are back at the TikTok Diner. Look at that, the New Yorker Wyndham. And there, if you know this intersection well, as the sirens come on by, that's the TikTok Diner. So we're driving by. I don't know, I've had a lot of good memories with that TikTok Diner. We had the gravy fries the other day. Now we got alarms rolling by. Oh, New York is just such a wonderful city. I would love to move back. All right, so we got an ambulance coming by. I guess I need to not move. All right, now we got a bus on our right who's stuck. We're gonna go. Goodbye, TikTok Diner. Goodbye, New York. Goodbye, old home. There's the TikTok. I used to live right here in the Olivia. You can see up there. That was on top of the movie theater. Now they've built all of this. This is all new since when I lived here. Look at these towers. Hudson Yards. This all used to just be a wasteland, and now all this office space, they didn't realize there'd be a pandemic and there'd be a lot less demand for office space in New York City, but still beautiful. And passing the Javits Center, that's the last cool landmark here on 34th Street. I don't even know if it's a cool landmark, but
at the light, turn right onto 12th Avenue.
We gotta turn right. The Hudson River straight ahead. This is famous for the miracle on the Hudson. Literally the plane coming down right in front of here. He might have come down maybe in the 40s or the 50s and then floated down the Hudson. I had neighbors who lived on 33rd and 8th who were able to see the plane from their window and from the balcony floating down the river. I was down at Hudson and Houston, and also, now it took more time, but the plane floated down past my office, and I have photos of me looking out the window at a plane. The miracle on the Hudson, everyone's surviving that. Sully Sullenberger, just awesome. One of those fun moments to have been in New York City for something positive. I was not here on 9/11. I lived here, I worked here, but actually had flown to LA the day before. Passing the USS Intrepid. Person behind me getting all mad that I'm filming. Understandable, let's be safe, but this traffic is super slow. Gotta show you the Intrepid. Okari Sushi Hibachi. Let's get dinner. Okari Sushi, actually chicken hibachi for dinner. I love Halloween. It's the main Halloween weekend. Got this cute little doll here cheering us on. Whole Halloween setup. All right, let's go dine in. And we really need to get driving, so no time to fully show this meal, but I got enough white rice to feed an army. We got our chicken teriyaki, a couple shrimp, and I think we're fans of this Okari Sushi and Hibachi in Harrison, New York, right off the New York Thruway. Let's hope we never have to come back here again. All right, the Inn at Turning Stone, our first time staying at a property located at Turning Stone and associated with the resort. Sort of nice, but also definitely the cheapest type place you can get on property or related to the property. There's a shuttle that'll take you over. I think we may just always drive. No need for us to shuttle over. But this is the Inn at Turning Stone, our home for the next couple nights as we poker it up. At the end of each video, I'll include a P&L on how I'm doing on the trip. Check that out. Now let's talk to Doug Goodstein, executive producer of Howard Stern On Demand and Howard TV. This is a Pop-Up Poker with Doug Goodstein. Doug, we spent a lot of time together from 2005 to 2009 at a company, a Comcast joint venture called In Demand, setting up Howard Stern On Demand, what will become Howard TV, and I really appreciate you taking time out.
Well, it's great to be here. And those were what we call, let me just turn my ringer off. Those were called the formative years at Howard TV, when it all happened, the big transition period. It was great. What a great time.
Well, certainly when I get talking about my career, this area jumps off on the resume. And I remember even, I guess it was some point in 2005, I was tasked with writing a business plan of what would be involved in taking what was on E and bringing it over to a subscription on demand service. And then after just, my job was to write a business plan. They're like, okay, good job on the business plan. Now make it all happen. Go like hire everybody from E, build out a service. And we got to meet through that whole process, but I had the chance to bring you on, which was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it wasn't so easy, like just hire everyone from E. And we all went through the interview process. It was In Demand really vetted us. They made sure they were hiring the right people for their endeavor. So I respected it. I was like, wow, this isn't just a walk right in and go to our offices in space. It was like, wow, they're really interviewing us. So that was cool. I actually appreciated that.
The executive producer over at E, Robin Redzinski, decides not to make the move, and you got sort of a big chance to jump up and be executive producer.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity and an opportunity I knew I could handle. I was ready for it. I was sort of doing executive producer work with budgets and stuff and just running certain aspects of the show when we were take the show on the road, when we did remote shoots. So I sort of EPing that aspect of it. So I totally was ready to go, and it was a good opportunity, and it was just exactly what we felt the show should be, which was uncensored. And this was the perfect chance to do it and just pull the bleeps out and pull the mosaics and the blurs away and just sort of repurpose the content that was so meant to be that way in its purest form, so to speak.
I was someone who was involved in this on-demand space and helping it grow into, obviously now we all consume content on demand, in some fashion, but we were trying to figure out ways to bring proprietary content that would draw people in, and here it's a service for $15 a month where people got so much more than they did on the e-show. Although in doing so much more, it felt like we increased our workload by a ton too.
Yeah, we figured it out really quickly. The whole plan at the beginning, like you just said, was just to put the radio show on television on the on-demand product. And we were like, well, can we have the staff? I could fragment the staff, and we had those creative conversations and strategize how to do it. And we did it. I said I could make little pods, is what we called them. I had like a pod for the daily show, a pod for the behind the scenes show, a pod for the wrap-up show, a pod for, a pod of producers. We had like 4 or 5 edit bays, and we just did small teams that ran those shows, and it worked. It just worked. And then all of a sudden we were like, wow, we could not only do the radio show on the on-demand product, but we could do like all these outside productions. And obviously we accordioned out, we hired people, and we also brought people from other pods in when we went in the field and did like the Beetlejuice show and the Miss Howard Stern show and the Bowling Beauty show, which you were the announcer of, the amazing announcer. You and the great Sid Rosenberg was the host, and you did the play-by-play of Bowling Beauties. That was a fun show to do.
So classic. I still remember, and it's like we're trying to find a play-by-play announcer, and I'm secretly hoping that maybe I could be a candidate, and who knows, I've done some hockey play-by-play before. But I seem to remember no one could go near, Howard Stern bowling and keep it on their resume or something. So it worked out.
And it was funny, we auditioned you. We actually, we didn't just say, okay, you're in. We auditioned you, and we went through, I forgot the process, but it went through, and it was good. You showed us the hockey stuff, and it was like legit. You did legit play-by-play, good enough for Bowling Beauties.
Good enough for Bowling Beauties. So much so, I guess I did so well. I was asked back for Whack Pack Bowling as well. So I made my 2 different bowling gigs and got them on the air.
Right. Yeah.
And definitely, like, over time, if anyone was, a Stern fan or had subscribed to this service, they'd be like, oh, I remember, like, it was the biggest credit of my career to that time.
Yeah, it was fun. Those were fun shows.
Bowlers, we also got the greatest announcing team in the history of bowling. One is, quite simply, stunningly handsome. The other is a chain-smoking bowling connoisseur who carries a black cloud around wherever he goes. It's our play-by-play man, Jason Patton, and our color analyst, Scott the Engineer.
All right, Jim, thanks for the warm greeting, at least for me.
Yeah, Jim, you could have been a little nicer to me.
Are you a Howard Stern fan? What's your favorite Howard Stern moment? Comment below, let me know.
As I'm vlogging and doing this trip across the country from New York to LA, it has brought me back to this time of working with you, working with the whole Howard TV team on these original productions. It's like, okay, and my vlog is nowhere near, the production quality that we did, but some of these productions were just so creative, so much a reason that people would go and tune into the service.
Yeah, we stretched the dollar, so to speak. And we really did a lot with, I wouldn't say a little, but we did a lot creatively with a limited budget. We had the budget, and the budget was set, and rightfully so. In Demand wasn't saying, okay, well, you want to do all these shows, we'll give you extra X amount of millions of dollars. It was like, okay, make it work was the mandate, the mantra. If you want to do it, make it work. And we figured out how to make it work, and we did it. We had the best, the way we were successful with it is that we had the staff, we had the people on staff. So we brought everyone onto those shows. And then we only had to bring in a certain amount of freelancers and, jib operators and other camera crew and lighting. But for the most part, the infrastructure was there with the existing team. So everyone, it was all hands in on those. And we had the staff to do it. And everyone was, wore many hats. And we made a big budget for not such a big budget. And we made them work. And they looked like as good as any other show, any other reality show out there. They were real deal productions.
Yeah, like a Miss Howard Stern idea of bringing Andrea onto the big screen, or the little screen, or whichever screen it is. It's like reality's a hit even at that time, and we get to see an inside look at, somebody's life.
Yeah, well, that was a tough show. I wasn't out in the field in Georgia for that, but that was a challenge. I got all the reports, and wow, I was like, oh boy, this is trouble. Whether she was drunk or she was with her boyfriend, and we were like, we're supposed to be shooting, and you're not supposed to be with your boyfriend while we have, it was just one thing after the other, fights and drunkenness and just a lot of extracurricular activity. So that was a challenge, but it was a great show. It was fun.
All right,
so it was nerve-wracking for sure.
Yeah, maybe more exciting than my vlog, because I don't think I have much of any of that in there, which does make great TV at the end of the day.
Yeah.
One other show and sort of giant production that comes to mind is the Howard Stern Film Festival. Can you talk a little bit about where that idea came from?
Yeah, the Film Fest was, man, that was like right out of the gate. I don't even think we were on the air for a few months or yeah, that was a challenge. I forgot how that was born, but wow, that was a great production. And again, that was a challenge, and that had everyone from In Demand, every department, from marketing and PR and publicity and your end, the business and legal, and just there was so many moving parts. And again, it wasn't the digital world yet. It was like we had submissions by VHS and DVD and mini DV tapes. So we had it wasn't like you got a file and you just watched it. It's like we had to sit there and get the tape, it had to be mailed. We had to then categorize it and log it and then watch it. And then we had a whole voting system. It was a process. That was just for the screening to get down to the finalists. But the venue itself was a whole other thing too. And it was really a hot ticket, and everyone and their mother wanted to come. And then there was, there was a lot of press involved. There was a red carpet. There was celebrities. There was, really just a cool, fun event. I wish we did more than just that one. I'm not sure why we decided not to, but that was great. I mean, right out of the gate, that was such a fun, challenging, rewarding event. It was a big success. I don't know if any of the filmmakers moved on to any great careers. I haven't followed up with anyone, but we actually hired one of the guys. Jason Sorotin was one of the finalists, and we hired him as a producer, who turned out to be an amazing producer. He produced the Miss Howard Stern show, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure he did.
Well, I remember, we're setting interns up to do the first screening of these VHS tapes, and again, there's a pile of VHS tapes around, and then
hundreds and hundreds. Yeah.
Then someone's like, you got to see someone would find one that jumped out, and then everybody's running over to see it. And you got to see this one called No Signal. which I forget if that's Jason's or if that was somebody else's, but
I don't remember, but that rings a definitely amazing you remembered that. But yeah, that was either, I don't know. I'm going to try to guess.
but then yeah, you're trying to take all these budding filmmakers to have their big shot, and I do remember it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we had Richard Roper and Todd Phillips as a judge, which is amazing. And then obviously all the Stern crew was there and other celebrities. I think Richard Belzer was a judge too, right? Yeah,
That rings a bell, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, this is just a great time. Then we had the after party. There was so many moving parts to that, and it happened quickly, and it was just get it done, and we did it, and we got it done, and it was fun. Those were the good times.
There was the day to day where you sort of manage things, but these bigger tentpole events, as you said, like we had marketing involved, we had business side involved, this emergency with the venue or this emergency with getting something on the air. But that film festival, certainly jumped out at everybody afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The day to day was fun too. It was a lot of legal still involved, but it was a lot of negotiations. Like, whoa, what if we say this? What if we show that? There was still some limitations, not nearly. If there was 1,000 at E, there was maybe 25 at In Demand. That was just the stuff that we had to negotiate and discuss and figure ways around it. And it was good. The legal team was great. And yeah, we were able to put a lot of stuff uncensored, true to form, to what the show was promised.
I lived in New Jersey at the time and would commute into the city. And I sort of had a normal job, and Doug, you managed sort of everything. But occasionally, like I'd be on the train, I get a call from Doug at like 7 in the morning. Like your whole day is going to be messed up because you got to go to legal or whatever on such and such a thing.
Yeah, there was some in the early days when we went on the air, which was just right, obviously coincided with when Howard first went on Sirius. Yeah, there was pushing the boundaries for sure. It was really like, at the peak of like, let's try this because we can. Let's do this because we can. It's like, we still have something called obscenity and to worry about, and still something that may need to be somewhat censored creatively without putting a blur or bleeping. So yeah, I think we had a good team, and we really worked ways around it. And I don't think anyone ever noticed. No, they would never. I don't recall one call where it was like, a complaint from a subscriber saying, "Why did you cut that?" Like it was all managed properly.
I would always be looking for any feedback. And again, this is pre-true internet days. So we're on like these Howard Stern message boards trying to see who's using the service. What do they want us to do? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And, I'm sure along the way, there were things we could improve, but we did a great job of delivering what people wanted.
Yeah. And we did the right research before we launched. We went back and we looked at all the ratings and figured out what the top shows were, and that's what we started with. We uncensored the most popular show, the highest rated shows, and then we categorized them, and we put like those different categories that we were going to launch with, and it was all done with real good research. We researched and saw what people wanted or what they watched and consumed on the linear channel, and then we're like, okay, those are the shows. Whether even if it didn't always have to be with nudity or anything, and even with some language that didn't get through because people were cursing or it was a little crazy, we were able to go back and uncensor, even when it was on K-Rock, bad language and undo it, uncensor it. So yeah, it was fun. There was a lot of strategy in the first few months as we developed the channel.
Yeah, strategy. I remember one of the other things was we want to get this show up on the air on demand, a radio show, as fast as possible. People just wanted it minutes after it aired. And we had to sort of invent a cutting edge process to get it all edited and up on the air within, like edited within 6 hours so we could get it to people, 24 hours later.
It's so wild. You think about it now, it's like you could shoot something and within 10 seconds after you stop shooting, it's streaming essentially. But yeah, it wasn't like that. We had to have and I'm not making this up, but we were the fastest turnaround of on-demand content available. Like no one else was doing it, and we were turning it around in what, 24 hours. It was like, it seems like so like a dinosaur now. But that was the thing, we would shoot the show, edit the show, package it all up, deliver it, upload it, and then it would be processed, the metadata would scrub, and then we would put it on the on-demand channel within 24 hours, which was like, yeah, we used to tout that that was the fastest turnaround of online, on-demand, online content, streaming content ever. And it was. And now it's like, really? That was a big deal. Like,
That's
holy
it,
cow.
because we needed to send it out to systems, I needed it by midnight for me to get it out to all of our sort of partners across the country,
Yeah.
which meant it needed to get to our uplink facility by, call it evening, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. And just doing that all, getting something edited. You mentioned all those steps. You needed legal review in there, all within, hours was just ridiculous.
Yeah. It was a lot of moving parts that if we were to do it today, it's just we would have the show on an hour and a half later or 2 hours later with all the technology. Remember, we actually finished the run, still shooting the show on tape. We had talked about a year prior to the end date coming up that we were going to do a whole digital conversion, but no one wanted to pay for it. Because it was very
Indeed.
expensive, and it's like, well, why are we going to invest X amount? And then the other side didn't want to spend a penny, and so we just stayed on tape.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like eons and eons ago. I remember we had just launched at In Demand a high definition 24/7 cable network called NHD, which would eventually be called Mojo HD. And so we show up and we're like, we know how you've been doing it at E, but we want to do everything in high definition, And again, who wouldn't do things in high definition now? But we want to do it 16:9. We want to do HD. Let's, invest in all that equipment. And that was, a big new thing. One of the first shows to do full HD.
Yeah, sounds silly now too, HD. That was, but again, we're talking about 2005, 2006, talking about almost 20 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, and then I did love this whole Bowling Beauties whack pack bowling concept because I got to be a little bit a part of it and take off my suit and tie and put on a different suit and tie that I think we got from Goodwill or something like that to put me on as a play-by-play announcer. And, again, this is original content that people still talk to me about this day. Remember that bowling show? It's amazing how that jumps out.
And it was you, Sid was the host, but he also sat with you and did play-by-play. I forget how
So
we
I
did.
think Jim was the host once, and then Sid was the host a different time, and then Scott the engineer was my color
right,
commentator.
with you. Right. Yeah, that was that was fun. What a crew.
And we got out of one shoot, like multiple episodes, and people are
Yeah, we probably
competing.
got like at least 4 to 5, maybe 6, at least 4 though on each of the series. Yeah.
So very, very entertaining to reminisce about these times. And got to work with so many good people. One term you taught me, I remember, is the term predator. Like I am, working with you on these different things and we're trying to justify how we do more original content. And you're like, oh, I found a predator. And like, what's a predator? What is a predator, Doug?
Yeah, a predator is at that time, it's still the term that exists, a producer and an editor. So predator, it's the combination of producing and editing. And yeah, most of our guys were essentially predators. Just maybe 1 or 2 were just editors, but an editor, even if you're not a predator, you're still a predator because you're still putting on your producer chops. If you have a paper cut and you have to do anything creative, you still have producer eyes on it. And yeah, so that's what we did. We were able to do it with people who can produce and edit. A lot of our guys were producers and editors. Now it's probably like, I don't even know what the term would be, but it's like you have to write, produce, edit, direct, just the changing landscape of media and how freelancers are and what they're expected to do, and even staff editors they just do it all.
Well, I really appreciate, Doug, you taking time out. What are you up to these days?
I have my own company, and I do a lot of content for healthcare systems, for corporations, for businesses, big and small, for universities, for nonprofits. So, yeah, I went on my own about a year, fully on my own about a year and a half ago, and it right out of the gate, fortunately, knock on wood, doing really well. Before that, for a few years, I left broadcast and started doing more corporate stuff and was working with some real big Fortune 500s for the companies I was working at. That's where it's at. If you don't know, the television and reality business these days is really, really, really difficult and been turned upside down. So I'm glad I did the pivot before that really started happening, and I'm happy and doing work for myself. It's great.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Let's close with a profit and loss tracker. We finally have some inflows for a change. Next stop, River Schenectady. Please like, comment, subscribe. I truly appreciate it.